America has a great deal of work to do to re-establish some kind of relationship with Iran, and the sooner she gets on with it, the better. I think the re-establishment of diplomatic relations coming out of these first steps towards a diplomatic conversation, they can't happen tomorrow because it's too early. But I think the moment that one sees any serious effort by Iran to meet some of the issues raised by the International Energy Authority, Atomic Energy Authority, the sooner and the better the United States should resume full diplomatic relations. Now, having said that, which is partly a response to my deeply respected colleague Sam, I would add two other things. The first thing to add is that Iran is astonishingly sympathetic to America. It's a very young country. Half of it is under the age of 20. And when I was there, one of the things that's very striking if you're a visitor to Iran is how warm is the response of the ordinary people. You know, you go into a restaurant, you go into a concert, you go into a mosque, and people rush up to you and say, you know, who are you, where are you from, do you like Iran, do you like us? It's quite touching, actually, how warm the response is. So this is not a country to write off as a hopeless case. It's a country to recognize is yearning to be part of the outside world and is somewhat prevented from doing so by the nature of its current clerical government, quite apart from the secular government. Second thing to say, I think, is that in my view, a lot of what Iran is doing is driven by an intense wish to be seen as a major regional power and not somebody who can just be wiped out. And they have some reason to feel, I think, angry about that. I mean, we and particularly the US, behaved very badly in the Iraq-Iran war, supplying arms to Iraq to mow down thousands of young Iranian men. I mean, the story is a terrible story. It's rather like the First World War of young men dying in trenches and so on. So we have a lot of ground to make up. But I think in return, what's actually happening, and the religious leaders and also the government are very clever players. What they're essentially doing is to milk every last bit of space out of the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty, the NPT, of which they are signatories, so that there's almost no space left between what the NPT will allow and what Iran is doing. And my guess is that what Iran is doing is to get the nuclear weaponization program to the point where it could be ready overnight, or not overnight, maybe in a matter of weeks. But they are not breaching. They have not actually specifically breached the NPT. So the only way to get around that is to recognize, to bring them back into the regional community, to set them up as a serious country to discuss with. But then I think one has to hold them to having to give more reassurance to the United Nations and the IAEA than they've yet done, that they are not bent on weaponization. And one can only say that the recent gesture, this couple of days ago, to send the uranium to be, or at least the uranium, enriched uranium, to be further enriched outside the country by France and Russia, is quite a long step in the right direction. It's the first bit of encouragement for some time.
Yeah.